Every day, millions of shoes are thrown away. Not because they are broken, because it's easier.
Young generation, they very fast. Change design, change style.
And that affects local shoemakers and cobblers.
Kerja tak menentu, kadang-kadang ada, kadang-kadang tak ada.
It's a very, very big shame that this craft, that this very respected and highly skilled craft is going to be lessened in the coming years.
"10 a.m. in Kuala Lumpur, in the district Taman Segar in Cheras, Abang Man, how he calls himself, is starting his day. The 40-plus-year-old is originally from West Sumatra, Indonesia. He moved here when he was only 15. Since then, he has worked different jobs across the city before eventually finding his craft.
Belajarlah tukang kasut ni, jadilah tukang kasut. Macam abang tak ada pilihan, abang kena belajar betul-betul. Nak cari customer mula-mula tu susah. Sebab tu orang tak banyak buka.
A rocky climb at the beginning of his career. But over the decades, Abang Man has built something for himself. According to him, today he has well over 3,000 customers, many of them willing to travel 20 to 30 kilometers just to have their shoes repaired by him. They even come from places like Kajang, Sungai Besi and Subang.
Muda pun ada, tua pun ada, macam tu lah. Mana yang kawan dengan abang dari dulu lah.
Many of them known him also from his other side hustle. Then before becoming a full-time cobbler, Abang Man was also driving around with his van.
Hai, so abang tunjuk. Abang ada jual second hand punya kasut. Yang ni taruh customer punya. Ni dah siap. Semua dah siap.
A few years ago, he was still moving, selling and repairing shoes out of his van from night markets and pop-up events across Malaysia. Today, Abang Man stopped that and parked his van here for good. Not far from Abang Man's place, behind an unassuming shopfront in Cheras, Sunli Shoes has been operating for nearly 70 years. The business was started by Raymond's father and mother in 1956. Today, he and his wife Candice run the workshop together.
老豆做嗰時候，就我哋細佬哥開始學咯，讀完書開始學咯，學開翻嚟，放學翻嚟又開始學咯，學開，跟住老豆問我愛唔愛學啊，愛唔愛做啊個鞋，我咪跟住去做咯，做起一直做咯，跟住累積嘅經驗啊，嗰啲客仔嚟介紹咁樣啊，我哋咪慢慢去解決嗰啲艱難嗰啲嘢，咪慢慢解決，諗開又諗，諗開又諗，結果解決開落自己覺得好開心咯，係咁樣咯。
What began as a general shoe shop gradually became something more specific and more rare.
Actually, last time, we are the first one to doing the custom-made shoes and then the dancing shoe in Malaysia. We are the first one.
The dancing shoes they make here are not what you find anywhere else. Soft-soled, flexible, built entirely for movement. They require a completely different construction from everyday footwear. And that knowledge lives almost entirely in their hands.
This one is called the dancing shoe. You see the bottom is sweat leather. It's not same. You can bend, you can fold it, you can do a lot of things because they need to point, they need to, grip to the floor, everything. Because for the dancing shoe, you can't service at outside, you know. Like normal shoe, maybe you can find the cobbler outside to sew it back like this. But for the dancing shoe, they don't have the material, everything.
But over the years, the work has shifted. Fewer dance students walking through the door, and in their place, something far more complex. People with deformed feet. Injuries that never healed correctly. Conditions so severe that no standard shoe on the market fits them. These are customers that have tried everywhere else and found nothing. Sunli is their last option. And because no two conditions are alike, no two orders are ever the same.
Every day got challenge. This is a pair. This one size 5 and one size 10.
Different, and this one different. This one 1%.
This is a standard normal fit. But this one, the other side is like this.
You can see a standard but different height.
Different height.
Ah.
Every day got my challenge.
Word has spread, not just among customers, but among doctors, hospitals and other cobblers who know they can't do what Candice and Raymond can. Very often, the cases are so irregular that Candice has to imagine the solution from scratch, sometimes lying awake at night working through the problem.
Sometimes very, very headache. Want to think how to make the shoe for this customer, how to fit, how to do it, what type of shoe you can do for them, what design you can do. Because he also don't know or she also don't know what she can wear, he can wear. Make sure that they all make sure that I got shoe to wear.
And yet, this is exactly the work that keeps them going.
Actually, our work is very meaningful one, you know. Can help the people. I very enjoy it, even though it's very tired.
Candice and Raymond's story and the focus on special shoes didn't happen in isolation. Behind it sits a much bigger shift, one that has quietly reshaped the entire shoe industry in Malaysia. And few people have looked at it as closely as Han Wen. The 33-year-old is what you might call a shoe obsessive. It started in 2019 when he began paying more attention to how he dressed, suits, leather shoes, the details that quite a few people overlook. That curiosity pulled him into a rabbit hole he never quite climbed out of. Today, he runs his own shoe label, GHW, a passion project built around one idea: that Malaysians deserve better than what the local market is offering them. To understand shoes properly, Han Wen started where most people wouldn't, with repair.
I was watching a lot of shoe repair videos. In shoe repair, you'll need to deconstruct the entire shoe before you'll be able to resole it. That really taught me a lot about what I would want in something.
When he tried to turn that knowledge into a product and looked for local manufacturers to help him, Malaysia's shoe industry couldn't deliver.
I reached out to quite a number of a lot of local shoe manufacturers. However, unfortunately, what they produced weren't to my specifications. It was very lucky that I managed to find this wonderful man called Tan, who is based in Saigon. Since last March, we have been working very closely together into making all of these shoes that you are seeing over here.
That Malaysia couldn't meet his standards is not a coincidence. It points to something much deeper, a market that has trained its consumers to expect cheap shoes and to throw away when worn out.
What is good in the shoe industry in Malaysia is very much the affordability. So there are lots of different types of shoes at various price points, and we are spoiled for choice. However, this fact of being spoiled for choice also leads to what is bad, at least 95% of shoes being sold here in Malaysia which aren't really repairable.
When shoes aren't built to be repaired, the people who repair them become unnecessary. And that is exactly what has been happening, quietly, steadily, for decades.
I have, throughout my 30 plus years of life, I've been seeing most street cobblers closing down. Yeah, just due to retirement, gentrification, or the fact that they are no longer allowed to stay at their spot. Nobody is going to be taking over from them, which I feel that it's a very, very big shame that this craft, that this very respected and highly skilled craft is going to be lessened in the coming years.
Abang Man has been watching this same thing happen. But unlike most of his peers, he is still here. One of the last traditional cobblers in Cheras. At his small roadside workspace, repair is still done the traditional way, by hand. Glue, thread, scissors, a knife. Simple tools, but each one used with years of experience. Every pair is different materials, different damage, and no fixed solution. And it's not just shoes. Bags, straps, worn out seams, anything can be fixed, he will take on. For some, that's exactly why they come here.
So I still prefer the traditional because they are actually using their hand rather than some of them using machine. And nowadays, I do realize that this kind of traditional cobblers, they are lesser right now. Most of them actually goes to like big shopping malls. They do have cobblers, but they have it in big scales.
And she is not the only one who has noticed the change. Today, more and more people turn to shopping malls or simply replace what is broken. For Abang Man, that change is something he feels every day.
Kerja tak menentu, kadang-kadang ada, kadang-kadang tak ada. Mana orang nak lalu tengok siapa hantar. Yang tua-tua ada lah, yang muda tak ada. Yang pension ada, yang stop ada, yang meninggal ada. Semua ada.
And yet, it wasn't always like this. In the 1970s, 80s, and well into the 90s, cobblers were a common sight across Malaysian cities. You would find them along busy streets, at markets, bus stops, or right outside banks and shop fronts, places where people pass by every day. Back then, repairing shoes was part of everyday life. A worn sole, a broken strap, you fixed it instead of replacing it. For Abang Man, this is not just a bigger trend, it's his everyday reality.
Boleh kerja, kerja je. Tak ada kerja, tak boleh kerja. Itulah duit simpan yang kita simpan ada. Kalau ada lebih, macam tu tadi. Masa depan abang tu je lah. Sehat, simpan sikit-sikit. Abang pun bini abang sini, semua anak sini macam mana. Sama juga. Janji kita sehat je lah, Dek.
For Abang Man, there is no big plan. No factory, no expansion, just work, day by day. Abang Man is not alone in facing this. Candice and Raymond are sitting with the same question, just in a different form. The craft is still alive in their hands, but everything around it is getting harder. Colleagues are aging out, and Malaysia's shoe manufacturing industry, once one of the most significant in the world, has quietly hollowed out.
You see our factory, you know, last time you got one joke. If you get one bomb in Ipoh, whole world no shoes already because they export a lot in Perak Ipoh, you know. Now Ipoh Perak, there also a lot of shoe factory already closed down. Mati.
The supply chain is collapsing, and so is the workforce. Look around the Sunli workshop, and what you see tells the whole story. Every person working here has been doing this for decades. Chin Siu Kong is 71. He has been here for over 30 years and started under Raymond's father, stayed through the transition to Candice and Raymond, and is still here every day, assembling swords, finishing bases, doing what he has always done. When Chin is gone, there is no one behind him.
How to continue? Our age is there already. We are also almost 60. And then my children also don't want to learn.
It is the same story, told in different words by every craftsperson in this film. The knowledge exists. The willingness to pass it on exists. What is missing is someone willing to receive it.
Teach the people? Yes, but who want to learn? I would teach them. Or everything I can give them.
4 people, different corners of the same industry. And the same story running through all of them. None of them are optimistic in the way that makes for easy endings. The factories are closing, the young are not coming. And the customers who once understood the value of repaired sole or a handmade fit are fewer every year. But the craft itself, the knowledge of how to cut leather, shape a last, rebuild a sole, make something that fits a foot no standard shoe ever could, still exists. It lives in Candice and Raymond's hands, in Abang Man's tools, and in the shoes Han Wen is slowly building towards something.